No, it's not bad. What did you have?
What's going on, everybody? Good evening. We are live at the Heat, Okinawa. It's your boy TJ, aka Sly.
Hey, everybody. I was waiting to see. Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday Writer.
Yo, it's your boy Ken in the Hood.
Without the hood again. Anyway.
Hey, stop talking that.
It's DJ Cast.
You ain't kidding the hood tonight, man. You kidding the hat. That's what you... He done ditched that hood for a minute now. They ain't coming back. Hey, forgive us for the delay, y'all. Wednesday Writer brought us some food tonight, so we snacking down right now before we head out for the night. So this is like the only time we can really sit.
The first time I don't
and
work.
eat. It's amazing.
A long ass time.
Yeah, y'all lucky y'all ain't got to work tonight.
Yeah, you don't?
Nope. I'm
working.
Get drunk.
Right?
I get drunk even when I do.
Hey, what's up, Rana? I see you, girl. I see you on live. What's going on? Salsa, yeah. We'll be going out to Tina's tonight, probably. We'll see. We'll let you know. We'll be in Naha area later on this evening. I'm going to give a couple birthday shout-outs real quick. Shout out to my man, Ray. He's always teaching bachata and salsa on Cadena. My boy's birthday. He's celebrating with everybody, so hope to celebrate with him. I know it's a few other birthdays out there, so let me just say happy birthday. Cass over here making a mess, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Hey, shout out to all the Pisces.
I should have said my grace, but I don't need to because I know this was good, you know? This was just amazing. And I know it sounds real rude on the mic right now, but no fucks given.
It's all good. It's all good. Some people might find that interesting.
Tell mom that it was awesome.
There you go, mamita.
Hey, you're right. Some people might find that as a very good fetish show. You want to hear someone talking on the mic.
What's that? ASMR or whatever?
Yes. I call it ASMR, but...
ASMR.
What is it? What?
Your
ASMR.
boy Breakfast says you ugly. You ugly as fuck.
Can we stay on topic, please?
ASMR.
I speak for my people.
Can we stay on topic, please?
Oh,
Kid in the hat.
Are we going to have this kind of night?
He can never stay on topic. He's just as bad as King. He's just as bad as Chris. Random as shit. So, but yeah, like you said, what's ASMR?
Oh, sorry.
What's ASMR? What is that?
So, I'm going to be honest, I forgot what it stands for, but it's like when people lower their voice to like an aesthetically pleasing tone to where
like
they can
this.
literally talk about anything and be like,
how you doing?
Here's TJ right now eating the tangerine.
Yeah, I don't like that. Stop it.
Really good.
Stop that.
Well, and it's also like other things too. Like some people enjoy the crackling sound of when you chew. Have you ever seen the ASMR? Oh, you haven't seen the videos?
I've seen the videos.
Oh, yeah.
But that one is
The
not.
I know y'all just saw my face right now.
For me,
No.
that would never work. I think it's Cardi B who likes that like whole, like the sound in the mouth. Yeah. No,
well, you know, if it's Cardi B, then you know.
Yeah, no, not for me.
I'll do it. I hope she's listening.
Or like the popping sound of, you know, the wrapping.
Bubble wrap?
Yeah, bubble wrap.
I mean, that was tight. Yeah,
Some people like
who
that.
didn't do that when you got your packages and you like, oh, I got bubble wrap. Pop, pop, pop,
That's like the best part of the
Yeah. You almost forget about what came in the package.
I must be weird. I don't like that. I don't like the sound. I don't like the feel.
You're pretty weird. There's a lot of stuff you don't like.
No comment. I don't know how you can make that statement.
First, all right, we'll go around and say what our fetish that we like. What fetish we like.
I didn't even know that I have one. TJ.
Everyone has a fetish. Everyone's got a fetish.
There's just some more.
Call it a habit. Call it a whatever you want it.
I like shoes. Does that count? Like I like buying shoes.
So you got so you say you got a foot fetish on the low?
No, I don't. I don't. I don't have a foot fetish at all. I don't even like I can do feet massages, like receiving them, not giving them.
I would be like, whoa.
No, receiving them, but I'm not a big foot person.
So when it comes to men, though, like what do you find?
Okay.
That may seem to some people a little weird.
A smile. Like I love teeth. Like I like really good teeth. Smile.
Oh, he didn't smile.
No, he didn't. But he probably doesn't have good teeth either. A gentleman just walked by the window.
You know,
no one is safe.
No one is safe.
Yeah.
He gonna come back and tap on the glass.
And you don't have to show your teeth, but just like a really good, genuine, heartfelt smile. It scared me there a minute.
That really was gonna be scary for a second. Like he just came back.
Let's see. What else do I like? I don't know. Oh, okay. So hands, right? I like hands. Everybody's looking at their hands. I have a thing with like clean nails. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Because we did the same thing.
Me and you
Yeah.
and King, we was like,
Yeah, I like
We're
clean
good.
hands.
We're
I like trimmed nails, like that sort of stuff. I like, you know.
I know. Me and Kid in the Hood over here had the same thing with curly hair.
Yes.
I love curly hair.
I don't know what it is. It's my weakness.
Not
too?
like natural
Curly?
curly hair. Like, hey,
talking more
shout
about
out to Maya. Because she was rocking the curly hair last night at Bailando. She's got probably some of the most gorgeous hair ever. It's just so curly. Not like Coming to America, Soul Glow type curly. That's forced. Can't not.
Like,
It's got to be
they're talking
straight
tight
natural.
for you, girl.
Yeah.
And
I like playing with
below.
hair. I like playing with hair. Whether
Yeah,
it's,
that for
whether
me
it's
is
like-
one of the things I love.
whether it's like you napping or you
For
chilling
it to be
or
done
you
to
know
me,
you pull the hair. You know, hair is awesome.
So I got a message about fetishes and this interest in hosiery, which is not very common. We had this whole full-blown conversation about pantyhose and women wearing pantyhose, and people tell me interesting things.
She be going to Starbucks.
Well, actually,
You're the one on the radio.
So,
Let me tell you this fetish.
just remind me to tell you about what happened on the airplane on our way, to AD, and I'll tell you about why people tell me things. It's an interesting thing. But anyway, so going back to fetishes, he was saying that he really enjoyed women that wear pantyhose and how it makes the woman's leg look, and that he finds that very, very arousing. And but there aren't very many women nowadays that wear pantyhose anymore.
Unless it's a part of their profession.
Right. Like airline stewardesses wear pantyhose, right?
Got one.
And he was sharing how it made his heart race when he saw the airline stewardess wear pantyhose. And
There, look, he over here, you get the little breather bag. Like,
yeah, right. And the oxygen
that's messed up.
mask come down.
Is that who I think it is?
But what do you think about
I thought
that?
Yeah.
Because so he was saying
I could understand to a degree because I think for me, like the sight of it, depending upon what they have on, so to speak, can
Kind of turn you on.
a lot of things in what women wear. Like for me, when it's wintertime, right, and women wear the thigh high boots. Like I don't know why that shit's hot. I'm
well,
like,
that's how he feels about
I'm like,
pantyhose.
because like it's like if they wear it the right way, like throw a little sweater on with the jeans and the scarf, and you just, damn, you covered up, but you just you cute,
But
you real cute.
that's really sexy, right?
Or,
so that's
or
how he
girls
feels
that can
about
like just wear
pantyhose.
sweatpants and a tank top and rock it. Like I think that's hot. I'm
So,
sorry.
so let me tell you what
literally my
happened.
favorite.
He's shared with a couple of women that he's dated that he really enjoys that, and they find it strange. And I just think, well, it's pantyhose. Like, people have fetishes that are way more intense than that.
Is
Yeah,
it
like
strange?
feet.
Is it strange because like I'm just putting out there or asking, like females think that guys want their girl to always wear makeup? Is that why it's strange? Like you was talking, no. So she said that this guy said that like he liked his girls like laid back, like sweatpants, and he's fine with that. Is it because that females think that
But
guys?
that's different from a fetish, right? So a fetish is something that let's define it, right?
Kinda like an uncontrollable
sexual
arousal,
fetish,
you know?
right?
Yeah.
It's like something that really makes you aroused in one way or
You're just
another.
like, man.
Right. So for him, it happens to be pantyhose. And so they're funny because they'll say, well, if you buy me the pair, this was a conversation we were having. And he said, the woman will say, if you buy me a pair, I'll wear them for you. And he says, that's not the point of the arousal and not the point of the fetish. It's the whole anticipation of, wow, she's wearing pantyhose and I want to take her shoes off and rub her feet and all this stuff. And it builds up his arousal and his excitement. And I just thought that was really neat.
I have to experiment with some pantyhose. when my wife gets home.
I was like, pantyhose, man, I haven't worn thighs in a long
But
time.
I mean,
Nobody wears them anymore.
Because I mean, look at the
But they are
women. Look at the women
beautiful. They
like
do
back
make
in
me
like the
feel beautiful.
50s and 40s, 30s, all that, when they wore certain outfits, you know, they still looked very, very attractive. And that was, you know, like when you look at Westerns, right? And you see women that wear the whole, the bustier and everything.
Yeah,
and like,
bustier. I
girls
love
are up
wearing
and
that.
you're like, damn, I know that dress is really uncomfortable, but it's
You know, it's
making
not
me
so
very
bad.
comfortable,
It's
you know?
not so bad. I wore one a couple
Really?
months ago. Yeah,
Oh.
didn't you see me? I wore it for that Christmas thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you see me?
And and
No,
it
I
wasn't
remember.
that
That was a
uncomfortable.
nice
I thought it was
dress.
going to be, and it wasn't
No,
uncomfortable.
they look
at all.
uncomfortable. Like,
You would think, right? But
that's
no,
like
I
that's
really
wearing dress
actually
blues,
like.
man. That thing is uncomfortable. I'm sorry. It looks good. Yes, we know it looks good. But when we get drunk enough, that top button got to come down, and that belt buckle got to loosen up. Like
Yeah, no. But anyway, so that was one of his shared fetishes that we were talking about.
So again, like why was it like what about that made women like, you know, well, why do you like this fetish? Like you said they thought it was weird. What about it made it weird though? Because I mean, a fetish is a fetish. You can't.
Right. I think just one, he was open about talking about what he liked, right? So that was probably something that some women don't really explore. But I guess the specificity of it being the hosiery, and because that's not a thing anymore, wearing pantyhose is really not that big of a thing anymore. And I also said, well, what kind of women are you dating? Are you dating that they're not, you know?
Like the mold.
Because it sounds like he's dating, you know, some women that are like still in their
No,
mid-20s
not
and
at
don't know
all.
nothing about pantyhose.
Not at all, because he also shared, you know, that these women were open to other things that were more explicit, and he found that interesting. So,
Like,
Enlighten us.
like,
you know, we being nosy tonight.
we cannot share names.
we're not sharing names. We're not saying names.
In the conversation, I remember Jen. Hey, Jen. Lots of love. She's not on, but she will be.
Being nosy.
We were talking about the whole green room thing. Because he had described going out once in
Green door, green room.
Remember the first show I was on? Yeah.
When Jen was here, we were talking about Vegas.
Yes.
Oh.
So I said, wait, are you talking about like that whole green door thing? And he's like, what's that? And then he said, no, but this person took him to something similar. And I was like, wow, she wouldn't wear hosiery, no. But she took you to a swinger's house. And I just thought, that's interesting. I found that interesting. I was like, okay, she finds your fetish weird, but she's okay with other stuff. A swinger's house. So anyway, that was his story.
Okay
And he was interested. He wanted to know.
She's okay with other people's pantyhoses.
Or not.
Or lack
thereof. But he wanted to know what you guys thought about that, because I told him, I asked him, can I bring this up?
I say more power to you, man. I mean, at the same time, if that's something that arouses you, and because not a lot of people know exactly what arouses them. That's people are like, oh, you know, I think I like this, and they really just don't know what they're into. You know, they haven't really experienced and embraced life to that magnitude to where they're like, oh, you know.
Yeah, he likes the
I know
whole,
this, you know,
like power. Like he likes the whole business look on a woman, or the whole dressed up look with the heels and the pantyhose, and so I was like, wow. I'm listening to him, thinking, where did that start? Like, but that's awesome.
You'd be surprised. It could be like not to make him sound sick or anything, but it could be like, you know, how he saw, like if he's very close to his mom and how he appreciates his mom or whatever, and it could be the type of woman she was. You know, it could be she was a businesswoman, whatever. She wore this when she went out to go to work, or blah blah blah.
If I don't know him that well, but you know, if he went to church and saw the church women in pantyhose all dressed up, and you know, when you're 5 years old or 4, you're impressionable. And I remember working with a kid once who liked the feeling of hosiery, and he would put his arm through, and his mom was all worried about him, like.
Again, though, my only thing is, what if it's like an underdeveloped leg?
Why do you keep
oh my God, you're
so
terrible.
weird.
You are terrible.
Because like, doesn't the pantyhose look lost? Like on the leg, it looks like a, you know, like a
Forgive him,
slouch.
people. Forgive him. He's way cooler than this.
I don't know about all that.
Sorry, I had an image. It's just like little, like Popeye, right? He was in the olive oil. but she was like that big, and you saw like how her.
We're talking about olive oil.
I'm just saying, olive oil didn't have it all there, man.
No,
but
she
that was
didn't,
Popeye's
but
girl.
Popeye wasn't all that cute.
Popeye gave her that
Popeye was
too.
disproportionately.
Popeye and Blue. I mean, that whole cartoon was either way.
So who? Okay, so I shared.
That's
Okay.
not yours. That's your friend's fetish.
I shared.
She's like, I shared.
I shared.
She like,
You can't
Bella
set the
must be
rules after
listening
this.
Yeah, I'm about to
tonight.
say,
Look,
she over here
Bella
thinking-
must be listening
yeah,
tonight.
I'm about to say, like, she over here like, my daughter gonna watch this.
No.
Oh.
Or Mr. Secret Admirer.
No, none of the above
You got one
either.
of those? Huh?
I don't. Unless, no.
What's yours? I know. Me and him kind of have the same with curly hair.
Mine. This sounds really weird, but like,
Watch
It can
what you
be-
say.
I don't care.
He's loyal, he said.
I
He
said-
said.
That was crazy.
Disclaimer. Early.
Okay.
I was going to say, where the bell? We're going to have to get the bell.
I ain't
Oh,
even
dear.
I don't even gotta do
Sorry.
a disclaimer though, because I think the messy bun, literally just putting the hair on top of your head, that gets me every time. And then like a hoodie and sweatpants. That's how it ends right there. That's it. End of the day.
Simple and sweet. Nice.
For real.
Nice.
I like when, granted, when wifey wears some of my clothes, and we talked about this earlier, wifey wears some of my clothes, I'm like, all right, you look cute. But when she's wearing other clothes, I'm like, hey, that's where that went? Like, come on now.
I've been looking for that shirt for 2
I've been looking for my sweatshirt. You can't just be taking my sweatshirt and not put it back. Like, come on now. But I mean, there's certain fetishes that I would probably guess like the same thing with your friend that, you know, the female friends he would, or his acquaintances he would have, you know, like foot fetishes. I don't really quite understand it. I'll accept person for it, but it's like
See, I'd probably be
Hey,
out of the.
I don't
See,
get the
she
whole
would-
like
she'd
toe
come home
sucking
with you
thing.
like,
I think
babe,
that's so
I want you to
gross.
suck my big toe.
There's a
Hey,
video
hold up.
that we saw
I mean,
the other day.
I'm just saying, like, I'm only trying
I
to get
can't.
close to
I
feet
don't
after
get
you
it.
wash it, you
No.
know? And
No,
even
I
then,
can't.
it's like,
I think it's gross.
you got to put on some fresh socks. You got to.
I'm gonna show y'all a video later.
So the video he's talking about
No.
is, so this couple, they're in a truck at the stoplight. And so this
This
group
elderly.
this elderly couple. There's a group of kids, like they pulling up to the stoplight. They just look. Old man in the driver's seat at the stoplight got his girl's entire
her foot.
Too
And he's like,
much of
it looks like he's
That's
eating a
so
fucking burrito or
disgusting.
something.
I don't
The
get it.
entire foot.
And then they're like,
Feet are made to be massaged, and that's about it. Like
With
that's
your
as
mouth,
close.
man.
That's about as
That's
close.
still
and I don't
borderline.
even want
Yeah,
to
that's
touch
still
your
borderline.
feet.
Yeah,
You know, my feet, my kids' feet, but I'll touch my kids' feet.
Feet
But
are
I don't
made
want
for
to.
walking, massaging, and pedicures. That's
Yes,
about it.
thank you. That's
And the
that's
people that
about
do
it.
that professionally, my hats
But
off
hey,
to
you know,
'cause
hats off to you if that brings you pleasure and you enjoy it. But what
I wonder
about?
wonder if that's the thing, like, you know, for like people that are masseuse or like pedicure, like you gotta.
Maybe.
They got
Do you
a
like
foot,
feet? Like that's a part of the interview. Like, so
they got hand or foot fetish.
you know, describe your perfect foot. You're like, you know, like,
describe your perfect foot.
So I got a
Well, the big
message.
toes gotta be.
Absolutely not. I'm not massaging anyone's feet. Damn.
Who said that?
I got a message on.
oh
Online.
gosh,
Not even little tiny baby feet.
like see, baby feet. That's this is baby.
cute.
They haven't
They're
walked on
not. They're
the
not gonna
floor
do
in
too
a-
exactly.
So
They're not gonna
and
do
then
too
you
much
get that
walking
first
the
look
first
when
3
their like
weeks.
feet start to stink, and you're like, oh, okay,
Can't relate.
never mind.
Can't relate.
Not yet. So that kind of goes into our next question, right? Which was,
Like those do's and don'ts.
do you well you know
Oh.
okay, so
Oh,
let's say
yeah.
your
Yeah,
partner
yeah.
does like her feet rubbed or his feet rubbed, does want you to suck their toes. Do you? I know we're all like gagging here.
I like how you did that. You threw that in there real quick. You meant to get a reaction.
And no
Those that
offense,
have
really,
it and
truly,
suck the
you know,
toes.
if you're all into that, all the power to you. Enjoy it. Hope your partner does too. But what if your
say
partner
fuck
does? What if your partner wants you to do something that you don't find pleasurable, or is doing something to you that you don't find pleasure, like let's say your partner wants to suck your toes and you absolutely don't like it, but they love it.
They love
it. And so would you let your partner enjoy her pleasure or his pleasure?
That would tickle though. No.
Okay. No feet.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the image that's in my head right now.
I hear you, Chris.
I know y'all probably saw this movie. Don't be a menace to society while drinking gin juice. Whatever. There's a scene in that movie where the couple, the two main characters in that movie, they're like doing some foreplay, and her toes are like hideous, and I mean it's a spoof, it's comedy. So her toes are hideous, and he puts hot sauce on there, and
on the toes.
He's going at it with the toes.
Eddie
I'm just
Murphy,
like,
right? Was
no.
Oh,
that was with the
never mind.
Wayans brothers.
Yes.
Oh, it was. Oh my gosh.
No.
That's no. I can't. No.
All right, so scratch the feet because that's grossed out everybody.
Yeah, we're done.
We can get like a plastic foot. A little.
Hey, look, I think
can we do that? Because I can't. I'm just saying. All I'm saying is this. They have vibrators and all this stuff. So you could go get you a little mannequin rubber foot, whatever.
Here, baby.
Baby, just take 5 minutes, go do what you need to do, and then come back and come see me.
Hey, look. Hey, you leave that at the door. Don't come here with it.
Well, what about other things? Like, have you guys ever had your partner want to do something to you or you to them that you don't find pleasurable?
Okay, here. What if your partner just, for some reason, had a weird fetish with your butt and like, yeah.
I wish you guys could see Castle's face.
You say what now?
Hey.
Y'all already see my face right now.
Hey, how do you combat that?
When they want it or you want it.
Do you need to tell us an experience?
Disclaimer.
Wait.
This ain't me. This is not me.
No, even not.
So wait. What are you?
Are you saying hypothetically, not so much you, but maybe possibly
No, not about me. 100%. Not about me. 100%. Like 100%.
That was a long pause afterwards. Just saying.
I had to make sure that.
What?
Hey, shout out to my man Don Lewis. He's on here watching.
You just carry on with whatever you do and you just clench.
Do you let them go to town, but you clench? I mean, what?
What?
No.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Hey, look, I don't have to worry about it because my girl doesn't play with my butt. So I'm good.
All right, but hold on, kid. What if she found that pleasurable and wanting
I
to
don't
do
give a
that
fuck.
to you?
I don't give a fuck.
See? He displays.
I don't give a fuck.
Good.
Like, so what do you mean by playing with your butt though? Like with the cheeks? Or
I don't know. I don't know.
You were talking about
I'm just saying. Yeah. Hey, look.
What do you
I'm
think?
on the radio.
Hey, look.
Wow.
Just throwing it out there. Like, what if you laying in bed and y'all doing foreplay and your girl's like, babe. Oh, now she don't even say nothing to you, and she just start like rubbing your butt. Yeah,
like there's a good point,
yeah,
a touch point there.
Rubbing the butt is one thing,
But no, like she going to like spread the cheeks, just playing with him. Yeah.
Go ahead, kid.
Hey,
this don't happen. You haven't, bro.
I gotta show you guys. Like everybody is. So Chris said, then you fart. No. Well, you know what though? In all seriousness, that is right. What is the word? They have a saying for that. When
my safe word is pineapples. Now,
no, that's your safe word. Your safe word is pineapple?
Yeah, because you can't mistake that.
I think she was looking at your butt.
Pineapples.
Wait, but there are a lot of pleasure sensors around the anus. There are a lot, and in between the anus.
Yeah. When stuff exit, that is very
You guys cannot be this close-minded. You guys are on the heat. What is going on here?
No.
Oh my Lord, help me out, people.
I think
maybe not for you personally, but there are other people that enjoy it.
Let me go on the pedestal for the guys. Okay, let me go on the pedestal for the guys. The first thing that we think of, okay, when you talk about anything around the male's anus, is lock up, drop the soap, Good, your life
Well,
is
wait,
done. That's-
but you got to think about like there's a lot of foreplay. You're with the person you love. There's a lot of intimacy.
That imagery can shift
There
real
are
quick. If
some
you go
men
like,
who
ooh, lovey-dovey.
like their prostate massage because it gives them explosive orgasms. And how do you think you reach that area?
Okay, you understand where she's talking about when we're talking
Wait,
about
he has a
prostate.
confused look.
No,
You
no,
look confused.
not confused.
He
As I don't know.
hasn't had one checked. He's not old enough. Have they made you cough yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then.
Calm down.
They didn't make a cough. Or either that or you didn't cough.
The doctor forgot.
Oh my
to say
God.
Okay, cough.
He just
Oh, wait, we got a comment.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Vivica tossed 15-cent salad. Toss salad. That's the phrase I was thinking about. Vivica tossed 15 cents. 50 cent
salad.
50 cent salad.
Yeah, you can find them in the club. By the
These-
I mean,
Really?
What?
Are you blushing?
Oh, I'm not blushing.
You can't deny.
This is
I
funny.
don't want my salad. There ain't no salad to toss. There ain't no salad back
But
there.
so what
There's
if
no
you're
salad.
what
There's
if
no
you're
cucumbers,
what
no
if you're
tomato, no dressing is going on there.
what if your wifey wanted to try that?
She gonna have to find a new husband to try with.
So like I said earlier, like with the foot fetish, you can get you a little mannequin, we'll get you a little blow up doll. We'll cut up some cucumbers, some lettuce, whatever. You can toss a salad on that. That's
horrible. This is
salad.
why they hate Americans.
This is reality, guys. We're talking about what happens in the bedroom.
Toss no damn
In
salad.
whose bedroom?
People's bedroom.
Apparently, you don't want to buy.
But I think
Yeah, you brought it
It's
up.
important
They don't have
because I think it really is important to understand each other's fetishes because I mean getting into it, you know if you can deal with that person or not. Like if I know I don't want my salad tossed, you know, like
So that's what we're going with.
you know what I'm saying?
And that's
is
okay,
what we're
right?
going with.
Because that's
if
your
I know that's
boundary.
not what I want and I'm dating someone, you know, that likes that, then it's like I'm sorry, like
Yeah,
because
but
you ain't getting nowhere near back there. That's just not happening. So we just call it quits right now. You go ahead, find some other salad to toss because there's no
oh my goodness.
no Thousand Island back here. All right, shit, just no.
But for those again, right? We're not judging. For those who do enjoy, all the power to you. Right? It's high pleasure sensors in that area. A lot of reflex.
blue cheese and
Wait,
shit.
what are you whispering over there? You're like, yes, that is good. Yes, I
Whoa,
like it.
whoa. You putting words in my mouth.
No, he said I did cough with my salad. He like I like blue cheese.
Hold on. I got a question for you. Somebody posted a question for
To
you.
who? What's good?
I think it's for you. Does he kiss her once? He knows she tosses salads.
Huh? What?
I didn't get that.
Oh,
I guess
oh,
you
it's
must have
something.
said if I'm dating someone.
Okay.
I don't know. Chris, send that again. We
Oh,
couldn't
yeah,
really
there's
understand
more
what you're
detail.
asking. They need more detail. Oh my
Specificity.
goodness. All right, so I guess not that one. What about what are some other things that maybe
Choking's a big one.
Choking is a big one. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. What if your partner or you want to choke out your partner? Not choke out, but
I was about to say we ain't trying to choke him out. It's just,
But-
You know,
you
kind of
know,
little strangulation.
just, you know,
turn
just-
some people on.
kind of.
so do you guys know like the biology behind that? Like why people find that pleasurable or what that whole
Adrenaline rush?
Enlighten us.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, no.
Oh, adrenaline
I
rush?
would say probably maybe
'Cause-
adrenaline.
Because I was told, right? Because I obviously am open to
You
having.
talk to a lot of people.
I
That is
do.
funny.
I
have to
do.
hang out more.
I do. You know why? Because I'm not shy to have the conversation, and people feel comfortable telling me stuff. Like that whole pantyhose question came out of a really innocent, simple conversation, and it came out. I was told that the whole choking thing, people are doing it wrong because they're trying to choke their partner, but in reality, it's like slowing down the blood flow from the
Yeah,
two.
people try and choke the
trachea.
right there instead of the jugular right there or the carotid arteries.
Right, and so you slow that down, and it creates like a lightheadedness or something.
Well, you got the one that
It's almost
brings
like
the-
smoking weed.
You got the one that brings the blood to the brain and the one that takes it away from the brain. So
I like
So some
I
people
like-
have
I like
died
biting.
accidentally because
Yeah.
they've
I
done
like
it wrong.
biting and nail scratching. Like if you can bury your nails in my back, and it's.
But what if your partner didn't like doing that?
okay.
I mean, why wouldn't she? That's good angry sex right there. You can use that as motivation. You angry? Bet scratch my back. Go ham.
Why are you
What?
throwing jabs? You know what? And we're not going to mention my name. Does wrong driving. I do not. I'm a great driver.
Ooh.
Oh.
I've ridden with her a couple times. I didn't die yet.
Thank you.
He said diet, yeah.
Thank you.
That means the opportunity is still there.
So what happens if you like something that you know brings you a lot of pleasure, but your partner doesn't?
Compromise.
Yeah.
It's not like you got to sit. I mean, it depends on where you're at in a relationship. I mean, obviously, if you're married, then you can't just be like, oh, just dump you and go find someone else.
No, and I hope that's
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
only
you can,
reason.
You know?
It happened.
That would be super
once
sad.
before.
But I mean, you find alternatives to that. You mean,
Yeah,
you
if I
find
can't get it
something.
from him, I'll go find
'Cause that-
someone else.
That's
See,
the thing
but
is,
look what he just said.
what is it?
I said, if I can't get it from him, I'll just go find it for someone else.
Oh, okay, yeah,
See?
loyal, right?
No. I was putting it from perspective.
Of
Of a non-loyal person,
Not
Right.
loyal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
which is not what he is.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Oh, what we
oh
got?
no. That's just.
But yeah, I would definitely say there's always room for compromise. There's always going to be room for compromise. Like,
I'm so confused. What's happening here?
and I mean that's kind of getting into the next one, the whole do's and don'ts when you're loving your significant other. I mean, what are some do's and don'ts that you go by when it comes to being with your significant other?
You know, it's cliche and as much as you hear about it every time in every modern relationship, hell, even like before modern relationships, communication. Everybody's like, oh, of course, everybody always says you gotta have communication, but does anybody actually really know how to have communication?
Communication is different for every person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. But for example, our communication isn't send me a good morning text every day or tell me you love me every day.
It's not the everyday norm. I think communication
That
is
not it.
I think when we say communication is essential is more so when it comes to when you're reaching some of those freaking potholes in your relationship, like when it's push come to shove and your relationship is being tested, that's when communication is essential. Like if you're going back to fetishes in a sense, or going back to things that are pleasurable for you and not for the other person, is communicating that. If you don't communicate that, then back to what Kid in the Hat plus the hood without the hood was saying, that's when you have someone that is gonna not want to no longer be loyal anymore. They're gonna want to find something else because why? They haven't communicated. Hey, look, you're not doing what I like, so I'm gonna go find it somewhere else. Instead of saying that and just being like, hey, look, you don't like it, but I like it. Let's sit and discuss this and find out. Because at the end of the day, there's always room for discussion if you communicate it right. There's always going to be an agree to disagree. It's just finding it.
Because you made a really good point, Castle. You said communication is not sending a good morning every day, right? But what if that becomes a part of your pattern with your partner, and then suddenly you change that pattern, but there's no explanation for it? And the partner says, hey, I notice you don't send me good mornings anymore, or you don't message every so often. That's a shift in communication. And texting is a two-way type of communication that's not very. It's really one way because I'm receiving it and I'm interpreting.
It's assuming.
Right.
It's assuming the behavior and the attitude behind it. That's why honestly I don't like texting sometimes, because what may come out from me through text, you may assume it one way. Like when we were watching Key and Peele that one time, like sitting there
One time.
a whole bunch, but I mean it happens where you send text and you mean it one way and then the other person on the other end they're receiving it in a different way.
That's a funny one too. I think one of the don'ts is criticizing your partner in front of others.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like highlighting a criticism about your partner and doing it in a way that it's supposed to be meant to be funny, but it's really like putting them in a bad light or using humor at their expense.
Criticizing, yeah, but I think if you're doing it in a sense where it's not necessarily criticism, it's more like like you're kind of hyping the person up, like you're pointing out a feature about their personality that you love. So you
but the opposite of that I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
It's
And
like
you don't bring out the the poor attributes of your partner in a group setting or to other people at the under the umbrella of it being funny, and it's at the expense of your partner. Like I think that's such a don't.
Yeah. That's like that Kevin Hart when he was talking about when you get with your girl and she gets mad, she always knows how to bring out.
Oh yeah.
At the worst time, like in front of your mama.
It's like you peeing. It's like you peeing in the bed. Yeah, that's some ratchet stuff to do. Because I mean, like with my wife, like I love my wife, and one of the most adorable things about her is that like she's clumsy. But
yeah, you mentioned that.
It's cute though. Like, granted, I know we talked about it way back how she went over the chain jogging.
She didn't go over it. She went through the chain.
She went through the chain. She tried to go through it.
Aww.
And like to them, and they know her. It's like as clumsy as hell. Like, babe, what the hell? And she may feel bad, but like at the end of the day, it's like, babe, like you're still cute though. Like stuff like that. That's what makes you cute. That's what makes you
right.
you. And I don't think I could ever like take that and twist it and be like, oh well,
Yeah, my wife is a klutz.
And stupid. Like what the fuck?
And it's not even intended with that way. It's like, oh yeah, it's.
Some people do that though.
The intention to use humor at the expense of somebody else, just so that you can make yourself sound.
I've seen that a couple times in relationships, like
Yeah,
going out
awful.
being a bartender. You've seen that with certain couples. Like there's a. Actually, they just recently, I think they just recently broke up, but they broke up, and I think one of the things was, she loved to dance. He didn't like to dance too much, but because she was getting into dancing, he would kind of criticize her for it, and like, oh, no, you're not doing that good, whatever. And pretty much, they broke that off, and now she's out doing what the fuck she wants. She's just chilling, and it's like, oh, bro, you lost out on that.
Or
man,
another person that I can think of that, I like to DJ, I like to bartend. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. They weren't okay with that. It's like, I'm not going to stop doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that are, that's definitely a don't, is when you sit there and you're with a person, you're getting to know this person, and you try and restrict them from
doing the things that they love.
Not just doing the things that they love, but doing what's natural to them, like doing,
right.
Being able to use their talents. You can't do that, and to restrict them because of not necessarily your own insecurity, but just because you want to. Like that's just not cool. You can't do that. You can't say, oh, you can't go out and hang out and stuff because I don't want you to.
You can't go learn the natural language.
Yeah, I can't. Anyway.
Shout out to Koo, my man over at Blue Cafe, always cooking it up on the grill, always helping us out. Hey, this man is awesome. This comes in clutch.
Shout out to Q, just tuned in. Hey.
Shout out to Hito over at Bailando, my man.
Nope.
We'll probably see you later on. Probably take a shot with you.
I will.
Flo over at Players, always doing her thing. Welcome back, baby girl. We know you had an amazing time out there in Thailand. Man, Thailand is awesome too.
I agree.
Just to go back to Deuce for a minute, is the whole like opening the door for your partner still a thing?
Chivalry?
Like the chivalry, like is that still around?
Yeah.
Like I really don't see it very much anymore.
If you ask today's generation, chivalry.
All right.
Pulling the chair
all right,
out
first
and
you coming from my generation, so I'm coming to the defense. One, no, it is still much alive. Yes.
I ain't never seen you open a door.
That's
You just got shouted out.
But no, like the reason like it's not happening
tonight.
The reason it doesn't happen as much is because like a lot of people get like somewhere, I'm gonna say, and more metaphorically, like a black eye from it. Like it comes from.
You don't need to open a door for me. Yeah, I can do it myself.
Slam that motherfucker in your
face.
face.
That is what happens a lot.
Really?
So,
Are you guys getting that a lot?
Not just that way, not that negative. That's not the only way, but in the sense of, because I know I've gotten it a few times where I'm opening the door for a young lady and she's, what do you want? Like,
Oh.
I want you to get your ass in the door so I can follow
Really?
behind.
That's
It's cold
so
outside. I'm trying to be
sad.
nice. Get your ass in the door. Goddamn.
Y'all can always
door
open the door
open.
for me. Y'all can always open the car door for me if you want. Like,
just
I
hold
love
the door
that
open.
stuff.
I always push my chair in, no matter where I'm at. If it's at a fancy restaurant, if it's at my desk
Like-
at work, like I always push my chair in.
Yeah,
pull my chair out from.
There's a black guy that comes from it now. And I think the reason why you probably don't see it as much is because after a while, this is like, look, I'm only gonna let you give me so many black eyes. So what a lot of guys tend to do is they look at the situation before it even unfolds, and you look at the woman and you're like, nah, she look like a bitch. I'm gonna let her go. I'm gonna stay back about 15 paces and let her go and get that damn door herself, and then just whatever, and I'll follow in after. So it's like sometimes we just don't even want to make the attempt because it's like you might either curse me out or bring out your whole.
I'm a strong
you're a woman,
individual
you're a strong,
woman.
independent
I don't
woman.
need
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm a strong, independent woman, and I love the door being opened up for me.
I got a couple people just hit me up about Diamond.
All right, so you're coming.
Diamond machine broken.
Again, not on topic.
So,
The fuck?
hey, Jersey's in the house. So, speaking of do's and don'ts, what about if you and your partner share two different religions? How do you incorporate that into your marriage? And what happens when you have children? And who do you think, or how do you navigate that when two couples or a couple come together and they're from two different religions?
I think for myself, what was really, really important for me and my wife was one, being acceptive of both of our religions, because she wasn't as religious as I was at the point in time. She did more ancestral worship, so there wasn't a lot of heavy practice, so to speak. So you really couldn't even call it a religion, so to speak. I mean, it's just, a Sokanao. It's actually a lot more heavier Christian base out here than most people think. But for me, I didn't push my religion on her. It wasn't like, hey, look, you're gonna be a Christian, you're gonna believe in God, da 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 da, whatever. If anything, based upon what my parents taught me was, kind of show them, from your experience what Christian is, what it is to be a Christian, and it should be however I live my life, that should like attract her to want to accept my religion, whether she wants to practice it or not. Thank goodness for me. I mean, wifey came to church with me when we went to Texas and she got saved, and amen, hallelujah. That was tight. But at no point did we ever sit there and was like, oh, we're gonna go to your church this day and we're gonna do ancestral worship the next day, whatever. It was more or less like, it is what it is. For me, I don't want to say I practice religion. I have a relationship with God. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's a little bit different. Criticize me all you want. For everybody to listen, I really don't give a fuck, whatever. My relationship with God is what it is. It's between me and him, and that's it. So how I put that upon my wife and more or less for future kids, it's like you can only guide whoever you have but to so much, So I can guide her into what I think is appropriate, and for future kids the same way. I can only guide you and show you the way. Ultimately, it's your life. You get to choose whatever you want to do. So I think with anybody in a relationship where there's two different religions, the most important part is dropping that religion aspect and paying more attention to, how do you practice that in your everyday life? If you're practicing it for the betterment of your life, period, like your lifestyle, cool, awesome. Then with any religion, you should know that it's not about practicing it and making sure that, everything that we practice, all the freaking categories of it, so on and so forth, we're practicing it to the T. It should be more so implementing it into your life. And if it's being implemented, that means you're acceptive of any religion, because studying religion, period, like looking at Hinduism, looking at Buddhism, all of them, they are all accepting and very versatile in knowing that, okay, I'm not the only religion. There are other stuff out there. I mean, it's apparent, but too many people take it to the extreme, So, my personal take on it.
My ex-husband and I were of two different religions. It was never an issue, thankfully, between us. I was raised Catholic, and he is Jewish. And we just decided really early on, I mean, he would accompany me to church. We didn't really go to any synagogues or anything like that because he wasn't very practicing, but it was important to us that our children knew both religions, and his mom she is practicing, and his sister, and so it was important that they learned certain things, about the Jewish religion, and we shared in some of those things. But I could see where it could be really challenging for some couples, especially religions that are very left and right. And I was just wondering what you guys thought about that and how to navigate it if you ever had.
So for me, I'm gonna take it from the kids' standpoint because, my father was a deacon. Like my mom and my dad were never married.
Ooh, Baptist.
So my mom, she's a Christian, but she wasn't deep into it. So she wasn't going to church every weekend, and that's fine. Oh, by the way, I did live with my mom. So my dad, he's that because he was a bishop. He was going to church every single weekend, and he started with okay, I'm gonna take my kids to church every weekend. I have another sister from my stepfather, and so it kind of was well, me and my sister, we didn't want to go to church, so it had to become at a time where, for the kids' standpoint, yes, you can introduce either religion, but you gotta also talk to them because you can just force religion on somebody. It will be force anything else on them. Yeah, they're gonna be there because you're forcing them. But in the long run, how is that gonna make your relationship with your kids?
Right.
So good thing for me. That didn't ruin my relationship with my father. It just kind of okay. I know that aspect of his life. So,
I think it's interesting how you see religion and how it's practiced from generation to generation. Because I know my dad. He grew up very, very, very Southern Baptist. If you sin, you going to hell. That's it. And that was never, I went to. It's funny because I went to the same church and it's still up. And I would sit back and I would get flicked for laughing because I'm sitting there. I'm like, we must be in hell because it's hot as hell right now in this church. Where the AC at? I'm like, dang, if that's how we going about it, then I'm gonna live life, whatever.
So, and here's what sparked that interest. Remember, I told you guys that I had an experience in the plane on my way to TAD. There were seats empty next to me, which I was super excited. And then this gentleman says, "Hey, do you mind if I sit next to you because we're all crowded?" And I said, "Sure." And we start talking, and I don't know what prompted him to say, "Yeah, I just came back from, I think it was Malaysia, one of the countries out here." And I was like, "Oh, wonderful. How was that?" Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Yeah, my fiance and I were making wedding plans."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I said, "Oh, wow, you guys are going to," so, innocently, I said, "Wow, you guys are going to plan your wedding all the way to Malaysia?" And actually, he was going to marry someone from there that he had met online.
Oh, that's wild.
okay.
That is wild, right? I thought so, too. And I said, "So how long have you known each other?" They met online. They had been talking for 4 years. He visited, I think, 3 times just to meet her and all that stuff. And now they were getting married. And he started talking about the ceremony and how intense it is and how expensive it is. And so he's Christian and she's Malaysian. And I asked him, I said, "Wow, so, I mean, he's a little older, but are you comfortable with, the differences in religion and the differences in culture and all that good stuff?" And I just found that really fascinating that here is this middle America. I think he must have been maybe 50, maybe 45, 50 years old. And, he met somebody online completely different in every aspect of what you would think of an America. And he's going to marry someone from Malaysia, met them 3 times and sharing in the culture and the religion. Yeah, what do you guys? I mean, that blew my mind, and he looked genuinely happy, like genuinely excited.
I think that's one of the keys to it is when, because there's people that say, you know, I mean, I've always gotten to talk, you know, you should never marry outside your religion. You know, I've always gotten that talk when I was in church in Maryland and you know, a couple of the churches I visited then, but it's like, that's kind of like saying, you know, well, you should never marry outside of your race, you know. I think my parents knew me well enough. They already knew I wasn't going to marry someone the same race as me. It's just, I've seen the world too much to be that, you know, that restricted, you know, that kind of restricted mindset. So the same thing kind of goes with religion. I mean, when I met my wife, the first thing wasn't, you know, the first thing on my mind wasn't, oh, so what religion do you practice? No, well, the first thing on my mind was, you know, hey, you look cute in your black dress, so you want to dance? Like, you know, we're at a club, you know, God's not exactly on my mind, no offense. But it's kind of going out to say, like, if you truly are looking for love, you know, in a relationship, you know, you're truly looking for someone, then whatever happens between those two people, when they get in that relationship, you know, they'll make sure that they make that compromise, you know. So
but what
religion is just another. I'm not going to say it's just another obstacle. I'll say it's another factor that's to be discussed, you know, when that time comes. Because I mean, it's not just about religion. It's about, you know, whether or not, you know, I want to have 2 kids, but you want to have 5. Then there has to be something that's talked about. Where do we live? You know, where do we settle down? So on and so. Because I mean,
and he said they talked about that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
And I said, so are you going to retire in Malaysia? Like, you know, in my line of questioning, because I was super curious. And he's like, no, she's going to come to the States. And I just thought, wow, she lives like really rural, you know, up in the mountains. And anyway, but leading to my next question. What do you guys think about this online dating and meeting people online and the looks are going, the eyes are rolling, guys.
I'm old school, man. I like, you know what I miss? I'm gonna be real. You know what I miss? I miss getting the number and writing it on my finger and be like, yo, I'm gonna call you later.
And you try to make sure your hand don't get wet.
Cause like you remember how I felt? You remember how I felt to get a number? You like, yo, I got that number though. Like, oh, girl.
It's really fascinating. People are really busy, and even though we live close to each other, we seem to talk less to our neighbors than normal. And so people are resorting to meeting people online to meet people, especially because the world is so big right now. What do you guys think about it?
For me,
the world hasn't changed in size. It's just
our reach to the world has changed.
I think that's the thing that has now. It's not to shun the idea of online dating. I think if that's for you, hey, by all means, you know, make the shit happen. You know, because I mean, when you look at it, everything like you got Facebook and all of that goes back even further. You got there was MySpace, there was AOL, there was Black Planet, there was freaking
Black Planet.
Yeah, there was one called Black Planet, and it wasn't just for black people. There was white people on there. There's a Christian Mingle. You know what I'm saying? Even the one for the old people. You know, like for the old people. So,
the old people. Wait, what are the old people?
Like, you know, retired, supposed to be in home chilling. You know.
Hey, look, they need happenings too, right?
Yes, they do.
I think it really depends on what you plan on getting out of said relationship or whatever. I say that because you got things like Tinder and Grindr, which is the gay version of Tinder.
Right.
You've got all these dating
But wait,
apps.
it's called Grindr?
Yes.
That's just wrong.
Yeah. Well, and the intent of Grindr is to grind. Yeah. I mean, really.
Well, you got things like that, which
sex.
Are essentially hookup apps. Like, a lot of people don't view them that way, but a lot of other people do view them as hooking up apps. And then you've got, there are literally apps out there where young women in college, and I'm sure it goes the other way around, apply to essentially have a sugar daddy, to pay for their college and in return for being arm candy or whatever other favors that they have. And then there's legitimate dating sites like, I can't think of any right now.
Match.com.
Yeah, Match.com,
commercial just
Cupid,
came up. Yeah.
something or other. But there's actual like dating sites where people, submit a video of themselves or whatever. And
It's understandable
that.
because I
Yeah.
can't shun anybody for doing it because not everybody is outgoing. Like I think online dating and all that stuff is very appropriate if you're the type that you're extremely introvert. You don't like going out to meet people physically from the jump. You got to kind of
So I did it,
do
and I'm
some
really
research.
social. I did it several years ago. I
it's
tried
for
online
all
dating.
different types
Just
of
actually,
people.
I didn't.
Did you like it though?
So here's what I put on my profile. Not that I was looking to date. I wanted to meet people. Like living here
That
and
sounds
having
like date.
lived here for so long. People come and go and leave, and I wanted just to meet people and find out, who was on the island, and I met a lot of really cool people and had dinners and stuff like that. Not dating, but meeting people and hanging out, and that was a lot of fun. And then I did meet somebody that I clicked with, and that was really great. Didn't turn out so great, but
What's her name? You say it all.
Hello.
But I think part of the challenge with dating somebody online is because I really thought about this gentleman. It kind of hit me hard because he's planning a whole life with this person, but how do you really know that person until you actually spend time, physical time, and really get to know their ins and outs and all that good stuff. So I think the online stuff is great to meet people, but not until you actually see them and spend time with them do you really know what
And I think that's what it
tweaks
is. It's
you
like
and-
ultimately.
and what their
The online
intention
is
is
good,
too. I
but
think
you gotta ultimately-
so I used to get a lot of messages just that you knew off the bat what they were interested in was just
Yeah.
really to get laid, and that was not fun and not
Well, I know some females that they will be on those like social medias or those sites, and they're like, "Yo, this is my only reason here." Like,
Chelsea
yeah,
says,
and all power to them.
when you travel a lot for work online, dating is easier
Yes,
too, or
it
just
is.
making friends online. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would have.
absolutely.
Well, see, that's kind of a double-edged sword for me, though. I would have liked to establish some sort of relationship beforehand, I guess, because this is just me. I can't just, I
Just-
travel for work. Say I drive a truck or whatever. I don't want to just
Have a meetup.
for every place I go. That's just me, though. And
Right.
if that's what you're about, more power to you. But again, I think at the end of the day, it boils down to what level of those online dating apps or websites or whatever you're looking for. Because everybody knows Tinder.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have one, you know what it is. And if you don't, you're a goddamn liar. And let's call it like it is. Essentially, you might meet some great people on there, but at the same time, you might meet somebody for one night, and that's it. And it is what it is. But and I think it has kind of had the what's the word I'm looking for, the review, I guess, of kind of being something that is a sex app. At the end of the day,
Like a bad
it's-
reputation.
Yeah, bad reputation. And then you do have things like my mother met somebody on the one you said earlier. I don't remember.
Match.com?
Yeah, a couple years ago, and it went very well for them. So I do think there's obviously, like I said, different levels of it, and it depends on the people that are using the app, because guarantee you won't find very many people, over the age of, let's say, 35 on Tinder. You might find a couple, but not a lot. All right. So maturity level and what you're looking for is really dependent on how that relationship on that dating app goes.
Yeah, I agree.
And, you can be over the age of 35 and be on those apps, and that's okay. If you're looking for something specific, that's fine. And like I said, not everybody on Tinder, on Match.com, on AOL, if you were submitting YouTubes
What
to
was
your
it? Craigslist.
Yeah, Craig-
Like
oh,
real
Craigslist.
bad.
Craigslist was bad.
Yeah,
Yo,
Craigslist was
hey,
bad.
watch out.
But
Craigslist was horrible.
if you whatever platform you choose, the platform is not the issue right here. It's the maturity level that goes
The
with the
intention,
platform.
yeah, the intention.
So if your intentions are true, like that, that's all you. But what is happening out there?
But it is interesting because if your intention is to like really genuinely meet someone and get to know them and build that relationship off that platform, I think it is a little harder because I think the reputation that online dating has gotten is pretty much it's a hookup thing, right?
I wouldn't even consider it dating. Like let's call it like it is. It's not online dating for the most part anymore. It can
It's
be.
online
Like,
hookup.
it can be. But
I mean, I've had friends where literally,
And for
I'm
some
like,
people,
hey,
that's all they
like,
want.
what we doing tonight? Can I come up with you guys? Y'all going to whatever place? I got a Tinder date over there, and it's like, fuck, you gonna come out with us to go see your Tinder date? Like, what the fuck? And you'd be surprised at how well people just.
I don't know.
I
That
just
scares
like some people.
me.
Some people
That
do
scares
Tinder.
me.
Some people do Tinder just to get a quick fix for the night. Like,
And
just fuck
hey,
it.
you know,
people do, yeah.
there are some people that are really that crave that need and but don't want to invest in the emotional piece of a relationship or of intimacy. That's okay. I'm just always weary. Like I remember when I tried it, and I had two friends that lived here, and we would like vet and talk about who. And then I had
matched
another
with.
friend. She did this whole experiment, which I thought it was cool. I don't know that I'd be brave enough to do it, but I think it was like 30 dates in 30 days.
What the?
But no, nothing sexual, nothing. It was just really literally to meet
Glad you
people.
clarified.
And no, not at all. It was intended to meet people, and she paid for her own dinner, and there was so that there would never be that whole like, well,
Well,
you owe me,
paid,
yeah. And she got to meet some really amazing people and some who were not so amazing. But it's interesting.
What is it though that's hard about just going up to people and just? I mean, I
think
People
Not
have that
everybody's
fear.
people.
Yeah.
not only
women.
that, but I think the way that our social media has
Portrayed us.
evolved, it is difficult, I think, now for people to really just step up and have that conversation. Like, I don't have a problem saying hi to people. I spark conversations everywhere I go.
Ain't that the truth?
But but I think it's really it's a rare thing, and I'll get that from like the men that I talk to or the women that I talk to. They'll say, "Wow,
Talking
you're
to you,
so
that
you're
is.
so chill to talk to," and for me to hear that, it's weird. But apparently, that's not very common anymore. Like to just have a general
I wouldn't say
conversation.
it's weird, but it isn't common.
And it's because
And
people are
it's-
so in their little space, and you can't read that social cue anymore
Mm-hmm.
to say, "Hey, are you friendly?" Like, if I'm at the airport and I'm waiting for my flight and I'm having eating something and somebody's
I've
sitting
done that a
next to
couple
me,
times. That's
I'll
what
smile,
I
like
like
just
about-
to say,
I like
"Hey,
about flying.
I'm chill. Like, don't feel like you can't even sit next to me."
just
But
wear
those
headphones.
kind of social cues aren't.
You get some of the best like chill times because I've found that when I was traveling a lot back and forth to go home for like different ops or whatever, or just to go visit family, like on the flight. So when you got a delay, you got a 2, 3, 4 hour delay, and you don't really feel like leaving the freaking the airport.
time.
You just
Every time.
you meet up with some people, like.
And I think it's easier at the airport,
It is.
right?
It
Like
really is.
everybody's just kind
Everybody's
of
doing the same thing. Like,
yeah, vulnerable
there
to
was a couple times
sharing.
where I sat down at a bar. I'm like, you know what? This
Forget the
DD214,
dating
you
apps.
know?
Go to the airport.
For real. I mean, because everyone's like, hey, I'm down here. Like, you ask the bartender because it's like, all right, you're a bartender, I'm a bartender. Hey, look, I'm here for like the next 4 hours. What can I do that is gonna let me? And
But really,
he'll chime in, and the two people next to
Even
you will
sitting at
chime in.
Starbucks
and,
is hard. Like I've sat at Starbucks with my girlfriends back in the day, and people just don't really. They it's a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what's changed.
I know what to say. Like, all right, so going out in a setting and you're just asking for somebody to come up to you. So for a guy perspective, like, okay, my generation's perspective. If you see a girl and you want to go up there and talk to her, like a guy looks around at everything. He sees what you're wearing. He sees who you're talking to. He sees who you're with. And for a lot of guys, it's kind of scary. Like, okay, I want to talk to this one individual, but she has 5 female friends around her. That's intimidating. Like, because
So we should drop the girls.
it's not.
Because see,
I'm
for
just
me,
kidding.
I was
I'm
about to say
just
for me, and
kidding.
I think that's why he said like for his generation. For my generation,
Yeah.
my focus is on you. My thing is this: if you make eye contact with me and that it lasts for a minute, I'm gonna come up to
Yeah,
you.
I think it
but-
also.
What's up?
But it also comes in place where there's a stigma where for every group of girls, you always have that one female friend that knows she's not going to be the center of attention, and so she's always there to like
Cock block.
Yeah, like don't talk to my friend, get away from us.
The Duff.
Yeah,
Yeah, the duff.
and so that's why guys
Maybe
of
we
my
sent
generation.
the duff just so that you
No,
can
oh no,
step away.
oh we know that.
And we don't
But
call
see,
it
like
the duff,
to
obviously.
chime off of that, right? To chime off of that, because I know women do this, but why? Like, if you here's one thing I don't get.
I don't send girls
When
to
you-
my female friends to. I'll
not gonna
stand
say
next
you
to the
might-
guy.
you
I'll
may
stand
not-
next to one of
you
the
may
guys
not.
and say, "Hey, just like stand next to me for a minute
You
because
may
I'm getting
not,
creepy
but, like,
feelings from
you
this
know,
person."
Where every guy has his guys, he's gonna have his wingman automatic. Like we're built to be there to be like, hey, look, I'm not gonna be the
women
cock
do
block.
too, though. We do.
And
we do
I feel like
too.
it's the other way
Oh,
around.
that's
I
the
feel
other way
like for the wing woman, it's like, let me fly right in front of you and cock block all the guys that are gonna come in front of you.
Okay, that's true.
So-
Why,
There's
though?
some
Like-
truth to that, but the for us also, if like we're
why?
out and I say, wow, that right there, yes, they'll figure out a way to like make sure you guys know and draw you in. At least my girlfriends do.
No, I know some females that like, hey, my friend likes you. You gonna go over there and talk to her?
And,
I'm like, chill out.
So, got a couple of comments here, but
Hey, shout out to Kenny.
Sorry, you gotta say hi to my bestie.
at the end of the day, so Tandy actually has a great comment right
Oh,
here.
shit.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
What's up,
So-
Tandy?
Well, it's not really anything super special, but it kind of goes into what I was thinking over here in my head. He says, lacking a physical connection in a relationship is a huge deal breaker for me when considering anybody for something real, which I agree with. So I think
Lacking
your love
an
languages
emotion.
come into play. So if you're a person that is words of affirmation, you can do an online relationship no problem. All you you just need those words of affirmation, right? But
if you're touch,
if you're a physical touch, then
Touch
which
person.
it really depends on what kind of person you are as far as online dating goes. Your love language. Speaking of love language, if you have not figured out what your love language is, you need to read a book. It is called The 5 Love Languages. And
Yeah, you late. We talked about that before.
well, I'm telling
what's
my
your love
people right
language?
here.
What's your
what
love
is-
language?
I ain't telling you.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay, hit me.
Words of affirmation is one of them.
Acts of kindness or acts of service. Am I on the money?
None of y'all right.
Oh, okay. No, I think touch
Yep. That's
and
one of them.
quality time.
There you go.
Those would be the two I'd give you.
Yep.
Touch and quality time.
You are correct.
I already knew the quality time because me you talked offline. So.
But it's so super
Okay,
powerful,
the way you just
right?
made
No,
that sound.
yeah, all right.
Hey, this is the same dude
Hey,
that's
that's
talking
bro
about
love,
butt
right?
food.
That's
Over there, buddy. I thought you was loyal, man.
so okay. So piggying off
Why
of
you always-
that,
why you always bring that up?
Piggying
Yeah,
off
always
of
bring
that,
that up.
the love languages. How do you handle like if your love language is quality time and touch? Because that's my love language as well. I think I like all of them.
Have you read the book, or
I
have you
have.
just taken the test?
No, I've read the book.
Because I think I kind of know what you're gonna say, but carry on. Sorry.
So how do you
was
how
really,
do
really
you I read that book like years ago. How do you handle your love language in distance? Right? So if you and I were together and you are like off
Are you just
on-
asking
in East
him or is
Bumble.
this for
all of us,
everybody?
all of
Well,
us, all of us.
okay. I'll
That was
answer
just an
first, I guess.
example.
So obviously, your love languages have to have some sort of connection in order to, even be in that sort of situation, right? Well, you'd assume so. It
Right.
obviously states in the book what doesn't really match with what, right?
Right. And you can not match at all and still
Yeah.
right.
But so you must have established something already, right? So if we're talking about in terms of like a deployment or something like that, right? I think at the end of the day, it's literally something like that's when, you know, what we talked about last week. Loyalty comes into play. You know,
consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Trying to do things. I want to be careful how I word this because I'm going to get a lot of weird comments if I don't. How to, yeah, I'm just going to say it. Take care of things yourself. And I'm not just talking about sexual things. I'm saying, like, you're going to have to, you know, your hubby ain't going to be there to take the trash out for you when he's deployed. Or, you know, your wife is out doing, you know, working late night shifts, doing whatever. Sometimes you're going to have to learn how to adapt and do things by yourself because, you know, they're not going to be gone forever, hopefully, you know. So this is just me. At the end of the day, I think it's something you're going to have to just try and overcome on your own. It's something different for everybody. You're going to have to, okay, well, what has that person provided in terms of not only their love language but to this relationship, and how can I maintain this relationship, trying to keep those things the same way but doing them myself, or, you know, because you obviously don't want to seek an outside entity to do them for you.
Right.
So.
But I also think too that so if my love language is quality time and touch, and you're not here, right?
You got this app called FaceTime.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh my God.
You said for touch though.
But for touch, this is where you hit the nail on the head. Where it's like I have to take care of that for me. So maybe getting massages.
Yeah,
you know,
we talked about this like 2 weeks ago. Right?
Yeah. But the partner can also look at how to help me heighten my other love languages, right? So, for example, if quality time is important to me and you're not here to give me that quality time, but you make your presence felt in my life, that is equal to quality time for me. Like, you don't have to be in my space 24/7 for me to feel that there's quality time between us. I think couples miss that. Right? I think couples miss that. Or explore a different love language that I may not have discovered, right? Like gifts, which is super easy to do when you're, well, unless you're deployed,
like anybody appreciates a good gift.
Right,
yeah.
Right, sure. And if it comes with heartfelt sentiment, that ties into the other aspects of love language. But I think we get so stuck in what we want, in my own love language, that now I'm not reading your language, and I want to come at you with my love language, and it just doesn't work.
I think one thing that's also essential is when it ties into understanding, like, okay, this is my love language, so not only do I have to learn how to, if I have a person that is far away, you know. So for me, mine is definitely touch. At certain times, it's like, shit, I need to notice, like, just like you said, go get a massage or go dance, or even if it's words of affirmation, go do stuff that you know brings absolute joy to yourself. Like, make sure you're still loving on yourself, you know. So even if your significant other isn't there to do it for you, it's very, very imperative to know, like, all right, well, this person's not here right now, so when it comes to quality time, for me, that's another big one. When it comes to quality time, there's nothing wrong with sitting, chilling, you know, doing some Netflix by yourself, or going to a movie, or go to the gym, or go run, or like for me, I got my dog, you know, so me and her go to the beach every now and then, like spend some time with literally me, and that's it, you know. So write a freaking journal if you're about words of affirmation. Take time to put
surround
your thoughts
yourself
out.
with it,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
So it's not always about, you know, having the other person put growth in your other love languages, or the love languages that are most important to you, but it's also about you doing it for yourself.
On that, this week I saw something that like hits. So it was one of my friends. They were like, "Yo, I don't go in a relationship trying to find happiness. I make sure that I find my own happiness. Then I benefit off of my partner. Like my partner does not bring me happiness. My partner just is there, and we enjoy just having time together. And like that hit me so much. Like, yeah, like if my partner is gone, like what am I going to do? Like, is that going to be I'm just supposed to not do anything? No, I'm happy by myself. Now when they come, that's just a bonus. That's a benefit to me.
So I had a really interesting experience. Someone that I've known for 5 years now, and I recently said to me, I don't know if I shared this with you guys, said to me, "Oh, well, you know what, you're a really strong woman." And I went and when I heard that, I thought, okay, what does this mean? And I asked him, I said, is this your way of saying to me that I am intimidating? Because I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot, right? And so he said, yeah, well, you ain't got nothing on me, right? That was his reply. But, in reality, you should be really proud of where you are. And the conversation, I think, is about, we talk about, we want our partners to know their own happiness, to be content with who they are, to feel good. We say all that. But then when we meet somebody who has those qualities, we are not so willing to accept them. Right? So I'm at a stage in my life where I love me. I absolutely love me. And it's taken me this long to get here, right? But I do. I love me. I love how quirky I am. I love how I think. I love how passionate I am. I love how righteous I can be sometimes. I love how emotional I can be. I love all that craziness about me. And I know that about me, right? I'm not in this searching mode of who I am and who I want to become. No. And so I bump into people who admire that part of me, but at the same time, bump heads with it because they see it as, where do I fit in your world if you already have all those things?
Yeah. Only fit if I love.
And let me tell you, and here's the thing for all the guys and gals out there who come across with a person who genuinely, that does not mean that I don't have weaknesses. That does not mean that that we don't have areas where we're still hurting and healing. But what it does mean is it may not mean that I need you. But if I choose you, if I choose to have you in my life, then I must find a quality in you that I want to grow in, that I want for you to elevate in me. And so we hear those things.
Or vice versa.
Right, exactly, or that I can contribute to, right? So we hear, I don't need my partner to give me happiness, but when you meet somebody who has genuinely found some contentment and happiness inside of them, what is it about that intimidates men?
Well, so going back to when I said about metaphoric, black eye, there's a lot of individuals, a lot of females that would say, you're right, I don't need a male, I don't need a significant other. So that you have to turn back around okay, well, she doesn't need me to provide for her. She doesn't need me to do all this for her. But what can I actually do? I actually enjoy her presence. I like her. So now it just takes the guy an actual, okay, what can I provide to her if it's not none of these
and you
things?
hit the nail on the head, kid. It's your presence, It's the fact that I know that I can lean in on you on those days that I'm not at my best. If I can lean in on you on the days that I'm not at my best, which are many days, right? Then that's what I need from you. That's what I want from you. I don't necessarily need you to put money in my bank account, thankfully, right? I don't necessarily need you to provide for me in other ways. But we, independent women, or those that, quote unquote, we are tagged independent women, it does not mean that we're not allowed to lean in. And I think the message is, oh, she must be independent and strong and doesn't want the door open for her. So, let's put her to the side. Yeah, she's awesome and amazing. But no, that's not it at all, guys and gals. It is about make yourself feel your presence felt for that person so that when they are not at their best, you elevate them.
Yeah, but don't be a bitch about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
if you're
absolutely.
I think that's
that door in your face.
No, and let me tell you that's the difference.
It's not that it's necessarily intimidating for us. It's just that when you show us,
I hate your
I'll
attitude.
tell
when
you
you
what.
show us in your own unique
I'm,
way.
I'm going to get a lot of comments for
I
this. I know I
need you.
am. But I'll tell you what. A woman who is a bitch about her independence is not independent.
Oh, that's very true.
And I think
You
what
heard
that
it
does,
here first, folks.
and I know I'm going to get a lot of messages for that. But
to caveat off of that, I mean, just that statement alone, it's proven that. Because it's no one's natural intent to just straight up be a bitch. I don't care who you are.
I don't know.
I don't think it's anyone's natural intent. It's always provoked some sort of way. It can be freaking intentional or unintentional, whether it be from your past, from who you dealt with, whatever the case may be. But that is not your true self. So For you to link onto something that is not all on your own, that shows right there that you are not independent.
And let me tell you, independence is such a misleading word because we all need each other.
Exactly.
You know, it is such a misleading word. And so if you meet somebody who comes off really rough around the edges, don't automatically brush her off. Like, if you're interested in that person, dig in and find out, who that person really is underneath all that whole shell. Because I can tell you, I could be a bitch. I really could. I
know.
You and Alondra say this, and I'm waiting. I need to just.
I could not be nice. I really could. I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like the way it makes me think. So I don't resort to it very often. But there are times in my moments of weaknesses where it's like, you're gonna see the dragon. All right, I'll show you. Oh, but
she said the dragon.
The dragon.
Dragon.
But if you do come across a woman that you admire and that has qualities that maybe you don't find in yourself, and you think, wow, man, I hear a lot, oh, you're really smart. I don't know if I could keep up with you. I'm like, no, I'm not. I learn from people. That's it. I learn from people. And so if you have something that you want to learn from me, I'd love to share that with you. Don't feel intimidated by it. So guys, step up. Step up.
Who's she looking at?
Yeah.
I was talking to you.
Who you talking to with that comment?
Who you
talking to with that comment?
You guys noticed I looked at the mic and I leaned into the mic.
No, she leaned into the mic.
And I said, I looked at the traffic going by. I didn't look at anybody specifically. I'm just saying, like,
somebody out there?
Just take the risk. And it's okay to be emotionally vulnerable and not sure where you fit in that whole puzzle piece. But if you click with that person, take the risk.
We broke something.
Did we? Oh, sorry.
We didn't break nothing.
I'm playing footsies over here.
My bad.
No, he has to.
Oh man, did I totally mess up again?
No.
Hey, shout out to my old youth pastor, Billy Staten. I saw you online earlier. My screen froze up. I need to get a new phone, y'all. It's time for an upgrade.
Shout out to everybody that made
April 20th, I get an upgrade for
420, yes.
For free.
420. Oh, your upgrade. Okay, my bad. Say April 20th to 420, But yeah, the risk in that, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Because, I mean, there's been times where there's been a few young ladies that I've dated. And to me, honestly, what used to trip me out is when I was in college, a lot of girls were saying, I'm independent. Do you pay your tuition? Who's paying your tuition? Mommy or daddy? Because that's right there. That's just like, I could truly say that I was independent when it came to college during that time. My parents didn't put not one dime in. That was all hustle and bustle for me. And that was from my parents pretty much saying, we ain't giving you nothing.
They kind of pushed you out.
You better know how to write a good essay for that scholarship. So that's what it came down to. But for the females I would attempt to get involved with, they had this air about them that was like, you know what, taking a risk with you would just be detrimental to my reputation, just period. It was not worth it. So, no, fuck it. I don't want to. And I look at them now, where they're at, and I'm like, I dodged a bullet. Jeez, bro.
Man. Don't you love looking back and thinking, like...
I really do. Because,
wow.
I mean, even with, it's happened a couple times when we've gone live, and I see people that pop up, and I'm like, who is this, bro? Why does his name look familiar? Oh.
So what's your, without mentioning names, what's your best dodged bullet?
All right.
Woo!
Bet. My sophomore year of high school. That was crazy. Like, okay, she was on a classmate, so freshman, whatever. And, like, everybody was like, yo, what are you doing with her? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Having fun. And, yes, ended up breaking it off. Yo, come around my senior year, I'm like, yo, the whole school ran through her. I'm so glad. I was like, got there, done, I'm out. Like, that was...
I did my time.
Yeah, I did my time. I did the crime, did my time, and I was free. Like, that was... Still look at it, like, we still follow each other on social media. I'm just like,
She about to beat your ass.
She sure is.
I would say for me,
Catch these hands left and right.
I'm not gonna say there's like two top ones. They're kind of neck and neck, and one, me and you have talked about it before. You know, hey, what's going on? How you doing? That's what's good. Another one was kind of around the same time that individual I was breaking it off with. You know, I kind of had a sideline relationship with another person, but looking kind of like you said, like looking at their social media and everything now, it's like I'm 32, about to be 33 this year, and you know, I'm probably at my most healthiest I've ever been. Granted, you know, we still go out and get fucked up pretty much every weekend. But I mean,
ain't gonna last long.
no, but like looking. No, I mean,
much
with,
longer,
with
much
as much as because I mean they'll tell you like next to bartending, probably not even next to bartending. Like me being in the gym is like that's my safe haven. That's one of my 5 love languages right there is gym. That's one of them. I don't care if it's not the book.
So,
I don't care.
Gym,
so who was it that you dodged?
I
mean, don't mention names.
just
but
looking at their social media, like I looked at how I was attracted to them then and now, and I'm like,
oh, you upgraded.
damn. Because I look at wifey. Wifey plays piano. She's a flight attendant, which is like a lot of guys' bucket lists. You know, so you know that's cross out a bucket list. She runs this woman runs marathons for the fun of it.
I know.
So it's like like y'all came over last weekend. Like you know, we're coming home. We're coming home from Lex's birthday earlier. You know, saying that else. And
early in the morning.
Yeah, and she's getting ready to get up and go run, and I'm like,
For fun, not.
No, I know.
This is
I know.
not 'cause she's
Como runs
like-
for fun.
my wife has been running marathons since she was like 18, you know, and just for the fun of it. So I'm like, more power to you. You know, I fully support you. That's not going to be me, but
I did a 1 marathon
You know.
once. Never.
but just literally like you know, and my mom gives me a lot of. She's like, yeah, you definitely. Me and her talk about it every now and then. She's like, yeah,
Hell
you
yeah,
definitely.
Chelsea.
You hit the
yeah,
lottery.
you
got
did
Here
that.
for you.
I mean, a lot of people always say, like, man, you're right, gorgeous. I know, yeah. I know, damn right. Loyal. But, yeah, like, looking at the past, I'm like, damn, shit. Some of them don't have their degrees, I think. I don't know. Health-wise, they not looking too...
No.
Like, age looked like it hit them hard, slap in the face, you know.
I'm gonna let you give yours. I got like a really good question, but I'm gonna let you get yours.
About what?
The time your bullet.
Your bullet.
How do you know what my?
I think I know what your bullet is.
We were all going around telling our stories.
I think we all know what one your bullet is.
All right, TJ. Let's see if you know what my bullet is.
I think it's a recent bullet.
How recent?
Actually,
Last
you probably got about 2.
weekend? I don't know.
You got
I'm
you
just
got
kidding,
a
I'm just kidding, I'm just
you
kidding.
got
I'm
you got a
just
Russian
kidding.
roulette going on. You got about 2 bullets that you dodged kind of recently.
Hell yeah! All right, let me hear one of them. Which one do you think?
I think honestly one, you know, despite the type of bullet that individual was, the remnants of what they had behind them, you kind of like a little kind of miss that aspect about them in a sense.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
That baby bullet.
Yeah,
say
more or
baby,
less.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you know, the little 22,
All right.
you know. So you're gonna miss the 22,
All right,
but
so-
you know, the little splitzer, you know.
No idea.
But that 357, you dodged that. You dodged that motherfucker. That one, you know. Granted, you got hit. It
Right
was,
there.
you know, it was a flesh wound. It's a
Right
flesh
there,
wound.
right in the heart, right in the heart.
It was
Okay.
a flesh, but it went right through. So he's
Yeah,
still,
it
he's
went
still
right
alive.
through. There's a big
He's still
ass hole in
alive.
the back. No, okay. So the bullet, y'all, for those of y'all watching my live right now, Chelsea, I'm glad we could make this last hour of your 14-hour shift entertaining.
Hell yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Chelsea?
So, here
Oh,
y'all
King
go.
is on here, y'all.
Oh,
He
God.
talking
All
about
right,
dodge.
everybody
Hey,
sit
hey
up.
to Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hey.
Get it, girl.
For real.
All right, so this bullet I recently dodged, and TJ is right, it is fairly recently. So if you don't know, I'm not going to mention any names, obviously. So I've been divorced, obviously, and after divorcing my ex-wife now, tried dating, you know, and came across an older woman, not, you know, way older, but older than me. and really started to like her. You know, just started. Yeah. No. No. Just really started talking and clicking, and she has a daughter. You know, that's under the age of 10. We'll say that. All right.
Okay.
Above the age of 5.
Okay.
All right. So trying not to give too many specifics, but her daughter and I really clicked. You know, like I love children. Grew up with, you know, thousands of brothers and sisters. You know, cousins, all that,
Siblings.
niece, nephews, whatever. So children have never been an issue for me. Well, I also bartend and I DJ quite a bit. It is probably next to the gym one of my favorite things in the world to do. And she was not okay with that. But the other side of this situation is she would be out every weekend at the bar or at the club. A lot of the time, the ones that I were working at. So, when it came to double standards, you know, it was kind of like, oh, I can't do this, but you can do that. What's going on? So, you know, you really start to grow an attachment to not just this person, but to their children as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that sucks a little bit. So, obviously, I had my boys right here talk some sense into me couple times, even though I didn't want to listen the first few times, and eventually I overcame it, and I basically slapped myself in the face and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Get over it.
Just a
And
flesh wound. Just a flesh wound.
Learning moment.
if you're watching, I am now happily taken by somebody else.
Ooh.
So
Hey, that boy said happily.
And he like, I'm fully loaded.
That boy said happily.
well, I know, because you know you can add comments to a live
Yes.
video after it's not live
Yes,
anymore.
that is
Somebody's gonna
true.
say something, so I
No.
gotta say it.
All right. But so my question after you missed your bullet, like you dodged your bullet and everything, like how did you know, like, so you're in a relationship or whatever, how do you know that like the one that you got is the one?
Right now,
Just,
My,
no, just
my
in
wife
general.
puts up with my shit.
boy, everybody put up with your shit.
The way that she puts up with me. So I'll say with especially the last few months when it comes to me getting out of the military, there's a lot of pride that I had to swallow when it came to making the decision to get out, because the backstory to it, a lot of people don't know, is that I was tossed a deal, and they were like, hey, look, you know, I talked to lawyers. I definitely could have won the fight, but at the same token, it was, you know, what am I sacrificing by staying in? You know, more time away from my wife, because at that point it was, you know, I'm still going to be in my career. I'm still going to be doing this at work, so on and so forth. And the stress that took a toll on me, both mentally, emotionally, and just physically, period, was a lot. So sitting down with my wife, and again, like, you know, I'm a type of person where if it's my career, then who the fuck do I need to consult with? Is me and God. That's about it. So the fact that I consulted with my wife, you know, showed that there was some growth there, showed that I respected her enough to know, like, hey, look, this is something that's going to affect both of us. So sitting down, talking to her, that was like one big factor. Once the decision was made, and it was, you know, she literally sized me up and was like, so what are you going to do when you get out? Because, you know, we can't just bank off of my check as a freaking flight attendant. I'm like, damn, she already came at me, like, you know. For me, you know,
That's
not
really
I know
It's real
I
life,
give the
It's
appearance to
real
be, as some people that have said before, very unapproachable. Is my demeanor seems very aggressive and abrasive and whatever bullshit. It just sounds like people being a pussy. But with my wife, and y'all know her, I'm not gonna say she's timid, but she is an introvert, and she does not just go up to people and just. So for her coming up to me and just being like, hey, look, so what the fuck you gonna do? Pretty much. I'm like, one, it was hot. I was like, damn, we're married. Like, you with me?
That's awesome.
That's what's up. Bet.
Hold on, what was you talking
And-
about? Fetishes?
You know, right? You know? So,
Assertive women.
for real, you know, because she, in my eyes, I'm like, you know, my baby is clumsy, she's nerdy, she's awesome, she's cool, and, you know, she's sexy at the same time. So for her to, like, kind of go
also
like,
a
hey,
woman,
like, yeah, I'm putting
right?
that power on you, like, what's up? Like, what you gonna
That's
do?
right.
Like, damn. Wow, cool. You've been talking to some Latinas that I like, so whatever. Talking to some people. But, you know, fast forward, getting out and everything, sign a waiver and everything, and it was her steadily still holding me to a standard. That's what makes me know for a fact, like, yo, she's in it for us, not just to make sure that I'm taking care of her or me taking care of myself. She's in it for us.
How far in the relationship did you surmise that? How far in to being with her did you realize? I mean, you're married now, but at what? Because
3
you
years,
said, how
too.
do you know when the
3
point
years.
is? I know.
Yeah.
A kid had asked, you know, how do you know that the one you have is the one? Right. So you realize this now.
For me, it
as
definitely
you've
goes.
been 3
I mean,
years
it's
married.
definitely looking at that now, and then if I had to go back, because I mean, obviously, you know, you don't want to say like, oh yeah, I know she's the one, and we're 3 years married. Like, obviously, she better be the one. Like, goddamn. But when we got to the point where, because I'm not gonna lie, we first had a little bit of doubt. Like, wait, are we rushing? Because the time that I proposed to her, I proposed to her in 2015. And then later on that year, you know, towards the end of the year, we would go visit mom and dad, you know, back in Texas, get the blessing from them and so on and so forth. And then when we come back, 2016 and bam, you know, March, we're already married. So we were like, damn, are we rushing it? Because we didn't do the whole, you know, the traditional, hey, let's get married in the chapel, you know, wedding bells, all that, blah, blah, blah. It was... hey, check it out. You start work when? Okay, cool. Because I leave the island for this amount of time, and if we're going to make this happen, like, let's do this. And it felt rushed. I'm not going to lie. It did feel rushed. But as time went on, it was understanding, you know, she's definitely got my back, you know. Like, we have each other for that. We communicate with each other. We do a lot of stuff for each other. And continually doing that, again, like I said, it goes back to she with me through my bullshit. Like, she with me for all of that, you know?
I think for me, kid, it's waiting it out and seeing if it can go past that initial like excitement and, you know, the whole novelty of the relationship and all that, all the things
with that person,
right? But some of that will hopefully, like, you know, he's been married now 3 years, and I was married for quite several years, and you keep some of that with you throughout the marriage. But you also have to ask yourself, you know, okay, what are the big issues that we know about marriage and about life, and where do we stand in those issues, right? And I sat through this I told you guys last week I sat through this training, and one of the questions was what is automatically off the table between you and your partner when you're considering marriage, when you're considering that this person is the one. For example, children, right? Do we want to have children? Who our financial alignment? Are we financially aligned? Do we have agreements in finances? There was a few other questions. Is divorce even an option? Like, would we consider divorce? And then if the answer is yes, then why are you considering marrying this person, right? That was probably one of the questions that hit me the hardest. So, you know, when we think, you know, television romanticizes this idea of the one, right? You look at all of the commercials and you look at all of the movies, and why I love Disney movies but hate Disney because I grew up on them, and I have this idea of what the fantasy romance is and what the world. Yeah, right.
And all your Disney
Aladdin
movies,
is gonna come and sweep me off
fuck
on a
that magic
carpet.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, and all the Disney movies, it was always a happy ending.
Right, and so you're led
You
to
don't really
believe.
see too many weddings, though. You know that?
At the end of the story,
you
right?
see
After
too many
all
weddings.
the trials and tribulations, you end up married. But, you know, it misinforms us about that whole is she the one question or is he the one question. I don't know if that helps answer your question at all or inspires you to think outside the box.
Hey, I would
Are
say
you
with
thinking about a one?
I have the one.
It's too late now.
No, you know what she meant. You know what question she was asking.
I know what she was asking. I don't have an answer for her at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and with that, we're going to pause on that one.
That's fair. That's fair.
We're going to set the sail on that.
That was a really good question because I'm sure somebody else had it. So thank you for asking.
So with that, y'all, we're gonna deuce it out for tonight. Thank y'all for everyone that listened in. Shout out to Wing Things and Kings.
Yeah, Wing Kings.
Wing Thing. Right?
Wing Kings.
Hey, we know where it's located. It's off the 23. The wings are really good, though. I have been by there a couple of times. Shout out to Thai Med. Get your massage.
Yeah.
Get your foot rubbed for all you got foot fetishes out there.
Hey,
foot fetishes out there.
If you need touch, is that your love language?
There you go.
There you go.
Covering your fetishes and your love language at the same time.
Make sure everything's platonic, though.
Gotta be platonic friends, man.
Fit it in.
Hey, y'all let her party, and I know it's a Saturday. I know it's not a payday weekend, but make sure you're being safe out here on these Okinawa streets.
Safe.
Those that got birthdays, be safe. Don't end up like my man to my left of me. Spicy chicken, Other than that, man, we'll catch everybody next weekend, same time, same lines. We're gonna be doing the same damn thing.
Send us your questions and comments and put out, what it is that you want us to put out.
Oh, one more shout out, Love Nail Okinawa. My girl, Mickey, she does amazing work. Does very, very good pedicures. I actually have those things are the bomb. I'm not gonna lie. So, that's our last shout out. Everybody stay safe, stay blessed. Do what you do, drink safe, drive safe.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't drink and drive.
Even if you think it's safe.
Right.
Yes.
It's your boy TJ, aka Sly, signing out.
Wednesday Writer.
It's your boy Kid in the Hood.
And DJ Cass.
Hey, I will have my hood on next week.
Yeah,
for
whatever.
sure.
We the Heat Okinawa, and we are out.
Yeah.
Bye.